codependency to me, Tom, is that we depend on China for our uh, for low-cost imports that American consumers need to make ends meet, for their open-ended, seemingly open-ended, as you alluded to, buying of U.S. treasuries to fund our budget deficits. And surprisingly, we depend on China for what has now been our most rapidly growing and now third largest export market. China, of course, depends on us for our open-ended consumer demand of their export-led growth. And so the codependency, which was powerful in bringing the two countries together for 30 years, is now fractured, just as codependency does in human pathologies. Partners start fighting with one another, and that fight has led to conflict.
Stephen, I just wonder if you could help me out here. The read through from some of the things we're seeing in commodities right now, iron ore prices, for example, I mean, down 7% earlier this week, aluminum stockpiles, all the word from Chinese ports and oversupply and all of that, what's the takeaway for you? I mean, what is going on with the Chinese economy, and can we read through from some of those signals?
The Chinese economy is much softer than we had become accustomed to seeing. The growth rate for over 30 years was 10%. In the last 12 years, it's slowed to 6 on average, and it's well below that right now. The government has put out in the last week a growth target of around 5% for this year.
Right.
Whether or not they make it is beside the point. They're going to have to struggle to deal with growth for years to come because of structural problems,
Right.
not because of cyclical problems.
Dr. Roach, you made a huge splash with your essay in the FT on the end of Hong Kong. And I understand there was some theater to that, but I think you were very clear and cogent about the process of Hong Kong being folded into America. I want you to write an essay on Bloomberg Surveillance right now and speak it to us on Taiwan. If you've got a Roach process on Hong Kong, what is the Stephen Roach analysis of the fragility of Taipei?
Well, Tom, first of all, just to back up, my piece on Hong Kong had more to do with the linkages of the Hong Kong economy to the Chinese economy. And with China slowing, there's no way that Taiwan has the autonomy, policy or political, to go the other way. And Taiwan is also caught in the crossfire between the U.S. and Chinese conflict. Taiwan's a different matter. Taiwan is an economy that also draws support from China, but it clearly, because of its important role in the semiconductor area, draws support from global demand. The concern over Taiwan, of course, is
Right.
political. And with a new president being inaugurated on May 20th, there's a lot of concern.
Okay, but Steve, with your
president will
with your decades of work in your sterling book, The Next Asia, from years ago, do you think the United States of America has the will to assist Taiwan in any form of military affairs?
Will and reality are two different things. It's a very contentious political issue, Tom, and under the various communiques and the assurances that we've made over the years, we have drawn our own fuzzy red line between military support and political support for Taiwan. If you took a unanimous vote in the U.S. Congress right now, if you took a vote, they would be unanimously in favor of Taiwanese independence, which of course is crossing China's red line. So whether or not we would do it is a question for the politicians. Biden has claimed several times, but his claims have been walked back immediately, that he would provide assistance in the event of a military action by the People's Liberation Army.
Dr. Roach, I wonder if you could help me out here. I mean, we've established structurally, fundamentally, that there is huge linkage between the U.S. and China, but what's the takeaway now? Country Garden, one of the nation's largest property developers, just missed its first, not its dollar bond payment. I mean, Tom, you know this. It already defaulted here in the U.S., but its first yuan payment. And then we also see 99% probability of default for Vanke, another 80% for Longfor. What's the read-through from China's property sector, and should, your U.S. average everyday citizen be concerned?
Well, the read-through is that China does have a massive overhang of excess supply and seriously and significantly overextended property developers. They just came through their annual meeting of the National People's Congress, and what was surprising a little bit to those of us who follow this closely was to resurrect a phrase that had been used and then put on ice for a while, that housing is for living, not for speculation. And that was taken as a sign that the Chinese authorities are once again being serious about unwinding the excesses in their developers and cleaning up this overhang of supply before China becomes too Japanese-like in its problems.